All right. All right. Well, welcome everyone to KitchenAid's A Woman's Place panel discussion Q&A. My name is Rachel Reagan. I am the program director for Kitchen 66, which is an incubator kitchen program here in Tulsa. We help food entrepreneurs get started by offering commercial kitchen space, some sales opportunities through our sister program, Mother Road Market, and we also have educational programming as well for entrepreneurs. So a little bit about myself before we get into the women of the hour. I actually got a pretty non-traditional start in food. I have a master's degree in gastronomy from Boston University. It's a fancy word for food studies. It's not gastrointestinal medicine. Just going to clarify that out the gate.
Like, wow.
I know. I also received a certificate in culinary arts from Boston University. So up there I worked for a food tour company, did research for the company, blending culinary history in the neighborhoods of Boston to offer experiences. Also did a lot of cooking classes for the youth in Boston. I'm from Tulsa and moved back in 2017. That's when I started my own cooking after school program for preschoolers. 3 to 5-year-olds can do a lot in the kitchen. You'd be surprised. Did that in a private school in West Tulsa, and then got hired in 2018 with Kitchen 66. So without further ado, we will jump right in. So right here, this is Candace Conley. So Conley, she is from That Girl Can Cook. So for the past 12 years, she's offered recreational cooking classes in Tulsa and is now in the Rose District there in Broken Arrow. So her mission is simple: teach people how to cook more at home and to actually enjoy it. And she also has a podcast that she runs with her general manager, Natalia, and they continue their mission to help home cooks with a humorous and often edgy and explicit approach to food and cooking, just what you want.
They've been warned.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's also appeared on Food Network's Cooks vs. Cons, and she's also slated to appear in a new cooking show that's not yet revealed for this fall. And she's also represented Oklahoma in the Flavored Nation Food Festival, which was an event that highlighted 50 classic dishes from different states. So welcome.
Thank you.
And then, absolutely, round of applause. And here in the middle is Faith Walker. She is with Curds and Whey Gourmet. Faith was born and raised in Southern California, grew up in the kitchen with her mother and her grandmother, really developed that love of cooking there. So in 2005, she went on to culinary school. She received several gold and silver medals in school competitions and knew that she had found her path. So for 10 years, she worked in Panera, developing that customer service skill, leadership skills, learning financial management of the kitchen. And after moving to Tulsa in 2019, she became the culinary lead at the Gathering Place's new restaurant, Vista at the Boathouse. And that's where she really learned how to manage her own restaurant, a skill that she is taking to move forward to open her own spot, Curds and Whey, that will be located inside Mother Road Market, that she'll open very soon. And I do also have to say that Faith is a graduate of Kitchen 66's launch program. She graduated in spring 2020, so we're very proud of her. Woo! Thank you. And then last but certainly not least is Jonna Hayes. So she's from the Three Sirens group. So Jonna was born and raised not only as a Tulsan, but as a restaurant industry brat. So she has done everything in the industry, following the footsteps of her family before her. She's car hopped at Sonic, hosted at Goldie's, popped beer caps at Crow Creek Cavern, bartended at Stone Horse, and now she has opened 5 different restaurants and led them through this incredible pandemic. She's even flipped a few eggs and scrubbed down some of her own dishes at Bramble, which is her breakfast concept. She opened Bramble first in 2017. Since then, Bramble has expanded into Jinx and Broken Arrow. And she also operates a Midtown favorite and also one of my personal favorite spots, Bird and Bottle. And in 2019, acquired and took over operations at the Celebrity Fine Dining, which is an iconic restaurant here in Tulsa. So welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely. So our first question is really for all 3 of you. So in the film, we really saw emerging women in the industry dealing with so many instances of combating gender inequality. So can you guys think of a time in your experience where you faced that and how you dealt with it?
Who would you like to start? I'll start.
Anyone,
Yeah, no, sure. I'm a front of the house girl and a bartender, so obviously there's a little bit of sexualization that comes with that position. Flirt, make everybody feel welcome. So you experience it right off the bat. You know, people throwing ice down your shirt. Can I put a tip in your bra? Those kind of things. You roll with the punches. You know, you got to pay your bills and make your money, and you don't want to kind of cause any waves or anything. That can also happen with fellow employees that are with you. So you experience it. You learn how to either accept or not accept and combat it. A lot of times I would see girls stand up for themselves and lose their jobs. So, you know, you really have to decide and make a decision on how you're going to attack that and adjust to it a lot of times.
Right. Faith or Candace? Go for it.
I think that I've definitely dealt with it. Just having male bosses at times, just not too much of just like nothing like that. But I'm just saying like being skipped over, being told, oh yeah, you're good, just keep trying. And then they're hiring from outside sources for promotional, not hiring within to promote, but hiring outside and me training other males to be my boss. So that's happened a few different times.
Yeah.
And
Wow. Incredible. How about you?
Well, my journey is a lot longer than yours. One of the things that I think all of us as women understand is that it's not just the food industry, it's all business where we face this kind of situation. I started out in radio back in the 70s, and let me tell you, when they tell you that they have this great broad out in the traffic, you know that you have a different hill to climb, let's put it that way. And so what I discovered throughout my journey is that I became one of the guys.
Yeah.
And if you become one of the guys, then you're kind of impervious to all their bull. You
have to make the jokes with them.
Yeah, and it just kind of rolls off then. And that's really, any industry, you have to be tough, and especially in restaurant business.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you guys kind of walk that line between, not combating too much because you don't want to lose your job, but also not enabling any behavior like that? Or is it just case by case?
Yeah, I mean, it is a weird line. I mean, if you're being offended by a person at the bar, you have a little bit more stance. You could say, I don't appreciate that, and you're willing to lose your tip on it because you want to stand up for yourself. But if it's your boss, you're kind of wondering what that would mean if you stand up to that person. Am I going to lose this job? And will I be able to get another job?
Yeah.
That was a big one. I know that's what I saw. Just girls would stand up for themselves, and then they would go out there to get another bartending gig, and it would be like, oh, she's just trouble. She's just drama. She's just going to cause chaos. And it's like, I mean, maybe not. Maybe she just doesn't want her rear end grabbed in the middle of a shift while she's holding 5 drinks.
Right.
So the line is a matter of balancing. Do you want to pay your bills? Do you want to stand up for what's right? And, the whole reason we're here is to say we didn't have a lot of female representation before. And I think moving forward, if we can get a little bit more of that, we can give women a safer place to feel like they can say something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and more support.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Faith, as we saw in the film, it's challenging to start your own business, and probably now more than it's ever been.
Yes.
Especially, and as a female, that doesn't help you either.
Right.
What are some of the biggest obstacles you've had to overcome in opening your business?
Honestly, one of the biggest obstacles that I've had to overcome is imposter syndrome. Like not feeling like I belong, not good enough to run a business or to start anything, and let alone a restaurant. Like I said before, I've been passed over for years, and then you just start feeling like, oh man, can I do this? But then you start thinking back, like, you know what? No, I went to school. I created the space. I tested the food. People love it, and I deserve a seat at this table. So it's been that for me. So I've been recognizing that and just going with it.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Probably the best.
Any other obstacles?
Just
Candace or Jonna?
just being doing the management part as well as the cooking part. Like, my thing is cooking, and I love that part, and just that other front of house part is one of the things that's been a little more challenging for me. But I'm working through it, and we're doing good. So
That's awesome.
You're doing
Yes.
the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, gals?
I mean, she kind of hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
There's a struggle you come into. You know, for me, again, being a front of the house person, I'm going to wine tastings, and I'm the only female there. You know, just people that have maybe a little bit more knowledge on some things, and so you just kind of feel like you don't belong there.
Yeah.
And you know, like Candace was saying, when the jokes are made, you either make the joke with them or you don't. And so
Right.
a lot of times, if you don't know something, not only do you not know it, but you're a girl and you don't know it. So it's you're a little extra dumb, so to speak. And so you really have to step up and, you know, have some backbone and be like, she said, I deserve to be here. I want to be here. I've worked my rear end off to be here. But getting there, you know, mentally when you're at home,
Yeah.
and you gotta, you know, gear up to get there,
Yeah.
get dressed, and be like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
You know, that takes a lot. So, I mean, I think that she hit the nail on the head with that.
Yes.
Yeah, and when we started off, I got thrown into a failing restaurant, and once it starts rolling downhill, dang, yeah.
kicking
So,
all that
Yeah.
so once we finally bit the bullet and closed the doors, we just sort of started from ground zero with
Yeah.
the cooking studio and teaching people how to cook. So. It's one of those things where you just do it.
Yeah.
You don't think about it really at the time. You just get in there and do it, and then afterwards you go, "Oh shit, what did I do?"
Well, and I feel
Yeah,
like
how'd I
that's
do
why
that?
after COVID that's what everybody feels like, ground zero. I mean,
Yeah.
not just women, just everybody in the restaurant industry now is, you know, we come out of this, it's ground zero. What do we do? How do we recover from that, not only fiscally but mentally?
Right.
Yeah,
It's a whole new
so-
set of
yeah, there's a-
obstacles that we've
there's
never
a-
had
Yeah, we didn't
before.
have to practice for that. Yeah,
No, I didn't see that anywhere
No,
in any book I was
Wasn't in
reading.
the manual.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. Not at all.
So KitchenAid is a brand built by women that stands in creating possibilities in the kitchen. And KitchenAid, along with the James Beard Foundation, have actually created a custom mentorship program developed to help women advance in the culinary industry and to offer just further support. So when you all started out in the industry, did you have a set of mentors or maybe one special mentor really help and guide your way? And then on the other side of that coin, have you yourself been a mentor to someone in the industry? And how did that feel?
Well, my mentor was my mom. She my father died when I was 9, and she had to take over his business. Back in the 60s, women didn't run businesses, especially not manufacturing businesses. So I had an amazing role model, although she really, deep down, felt that women should be home. So she had a real conflict of having to work.
Right.
I'd go to her business. The school bus would take me to the work site, and I'd do my homework until she got finished doing her homework. And then, but then she and I shared a love of cooking. And although she was not a teacher, let me tell you that for sure.
You were in fight or flight.
Yeah, it was all osmosis, but she had great cooking genes, and I luckily inherited those. But as long as you stood and watched, you could,
Pick it
gather a lot from her. And, you may or may not know this. I started my professional cooking career when I was 50. So, yes, I mentor a
know
lot of
that.
people. I mentor almost everyone because I'm older than almost. I started when most people are
Ready
retiring.
to be done with
Yeah,
that.
we're done.
Yeah.
So,
Especially
yeah,
this industry, goodness.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's why you're so tough. I knew
that's
it.
me.
That's right. That's it. Or,
Go
yeah,
ahead, Faith.
anyone,
Go ahead.
go.
Go.
I didn't have a mentor in the beginning of my career starting. It wasn't until about 4 years ago that we had a new GM come in, and her name was Dorothy Megan, and she really brought me, just fueled the fire that was already in me, just saying okay, I'm gonna help you get to the next point of your life. And it wasn't just at the place that I was at, but just in life period. I talked to her the other day, and she just always gives me jewels, and I just thank God for her. And I didn't have it early, but her mentoring me makes me want to be a mentor to other people. I have a women team right now that
That's awesome.
hopefully that I can mentor them like she has in me, and they're young, a little younger, and hopefully I can help them achieve their goals. So
Awesome.
Yes.
I was thinking about this a bunch before I came because, like we were talking about, there weren't like a lot of women representations going on. So every boss I had was a male, and of course I learned a lot from them. But I was thinking about it, and I was thinking of all the women I met along the way. Just certain women that even currently, just women I've worked
Right.
with for 7-8 years. Doing our prep or doing our dishes and being mothers and being married and working 2 jobs. And it's not that I got mentored, but I certainly got like inspired. And so when you see women like this in your restaurants working this hard and doing this kind of stuff, it makes you think that you can do anything too. You're just like, if this woman can work 80 hours, raise 2 kids, and not complain a single bit, and have 2 different jobs, and then surely I can do this too. And just having them believe in me as well,
Right.
it does make it a little easier.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And going off of what you just said, it's definitely not uncommon to see, those 80-hour weeks.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is a tough industry. Yes.
Very much so.
So we'll start with Faith, but then you guys can
Okay.
definitely jump in. We saw that resiliency also in the film. What is the biggest force to keep you going? Like what helps you build that resiliency and keep it moving?
Well, I have an awesome husband. He's
He is.
Aw.
He's been
all day.
We've been
Yes.
complimenting him all day.
Yes, and he is really my biggest fan. And he just, if it wasn't for him, I'd probably be shaking in a corner. So I can't do this. And has had my back forever. And besides that, my family is a really big driving force. It's 4 of us siblings, so I have 3 older brothers. I'm the youngest of 4, and my parents, and I just want to make them proud. Also, the community. The community has been amazing to me. I'm loving Tulsa, and just my friends as well. My friends that have become my family. Everyone in my life has just been. That's what keeps me going. It keeps me wanting to do more. So yeah.
That's awesome. Go ahead, Candace.
Yeah, me? Oh.
Yep.
Well, so you can think up your response?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the
Yeah.
question exactly. It was a long one.
Well, I've gotten to the point where as I was growing up, I didn't like working for the man. So I created, actually, Natalia and I have created a business where every day is a new day. Every day is fun. And if I don't have fun, I don't do it. I just don't. And we have a blast. And we teach people a lot of stuff. I was going to say something else, but I control myself.
She did it. It wasn't me. It wasn't
That
me.
they never expected to learn, whether they want to learn it or not. Yeah. So that's what keeps us going. Yeah. It's just a lot of fun.
element.
Yeah. And it's ours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think for me, I pretty vocal on Facebook. I pretty much speak my mind on everything, and I've said this 100 times. My staff just literally keeps me going. Especially after this last year, everybody I think questioned, or at least I did, is this what I'm supposed to be
this it?
doing?
Yeah.
And how am I going to get out of this? And then it just this rally of people came around that have been with me even before COVID, and they're like, yeah, we can do this. Yeah, we're going to do this, and it's going to be even better. And they weren't wrong. It is getting better.
Yeah.
It is busy. It is great. And so when I'm feeling extremely low and down about if this is the right thing and if I'm qualified and if I
Yes.
deserve it, I literally just have to go to work and work a shift and see a full restaurant and see all these happy kids and see all these happy guests, and then I feel just a little bit more justified. I mean, it doesn't solve the world's problems by any means, but they're an amazing group of people for me, so.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
incredible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
awesome.
So we are to our last question, and everything so far has just been so positive, and I'm sure you guys, I'm speaking for everyone, that just hearing you all speak is just really motivating and positive. As one just kind of final nugget of goodies, What is an accomplishment that you are most proud of?
I'll go.
Yeah.
I know what mine is.
Yeah.
No, I do. I thought about this.
I know.
This a
You
lot.
got it. You got it.
Got it.
No. It goes back to the staff and stuff. But my boyfriend, who's a journalist, he had interviewed a trans woman, and she had mentioned that she loved coming to my restaurant because she felt safe. And we have a lot of staff that are people of color, the LGBT community, that are, here starting new lives, and they all feel comfortable, safe, accepted, and welcome there. So do all the guests. And if that is like the kind of space I can provide, along with good food, good service, and a good product, then I feel like I've done more than I even intended to do. So
Right.
I think I'm most proud of having the kind of people that I do work for me, welcoming everybody that wants to come in. That would be mine.
Here,
Yes.
here.
Great answer.
Here, here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm most proud of where I am today. Just joining the Kitchen 66 program, and now we're going to open Curds and Whey in Mother World Market. I mean, that's just really a proud moment for me because I didn't think that this would happen.
Yeah.
And then
I'm excited to
I'm
come
just
see it.
super excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you guys to come see it too. But yeah, that's where I'm at, at this point, and that's what makes me so proud. So
Awesome.
so happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's a really hard act to follow, isn't it? I'm glad to still be here. We all went
Amen
through
to
a whole
that.
lot,
Yeah.
and we just weren't sure for a long time. But through, you just kind of, it's, my mom used to always say, can't isn't in my vocabulary. And kind of can't isn't in my vocabulary. So we just, put our heads down, and we were just going to be here, and we were going to make it
Right.
work. And we did.
Yeah, you
You
did.
did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah, you did
going.
too.
Yes. Yeah, you did. All right. Well, now, if you all have any questions, we've got a microphone ready for anyone that wants to ask any. Yeah, absolutely.
Hi.
Hi.
Is it on?
I can hear you.
Okay,
I can
great.
hear you. Yeah.
I'm from KitchenAid, so first of all, thank you so much for all of your everything from being here to what you're doing in Tulsa. It's amazing.
Thank you for having
we
us.
We have 5 or 6 young women who are going to culinary school right now who are helping us back a house.
Mm-hmm.
And what advice would you give to them? I think that you're very inspirational, and they could really feel comfort in knowing that you have been through it and look where you are.
Give this to you girls. You girls have been in the back of the house. I couldn't hang back there.
I would say, honestly, to keep going. Because sometimes when you get out of culinary school, you start applying for these jobs that they're like, oh, you need 2 years or more experience. And just tell them, don't give up, because it gets really frustrating sometimes. And then there's going to be that one person that gives you that chance. So tell them to just
Yeah.
keep going.
For sure.
You probably don't want to hear what I have to say.
Have to get edited immediately.
Yeah. I didn't go to culinary school. I'm self-taught and restaurant taught. And
That's a rough education.
yeah,
Yeah,
because well, first of all, by the time I reached the age that I was going to become a professional chef, I already had a whole bunch of education, and I wasn't going back to school. I wasn't going to have anybody telling me what to do.
Right.
And
You guys
so,
have caught this drift about Candace, right?
yeah, it is shocking, isn't it? And so, what I would say is take it with a grain of salt, because no matter what kitchen you go in after you graduate, it's not going to be the same as culinary school, and it's going to be hard, and you have to keep going.
Yes.
I
Yep.
actually will add a little something, even though it's not back of the house. I keep wanting to hit what she was saying, because it's just so important that you do belong there. You have a seat at that table, whether you're self-taught, whether you went to school, or I didn't go to school to bartend. Obviously, I just fell into this fun job in college. I was like, I'm gonna keep doing this. This is great. This is fun, and happened to get where I am. But don't think that you don't belong there. You belong. You did the work, You know, you paid your dues and you belong to sit at any table you want to sit at. So,
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Any other? Yeah.
you can just yell it at us.
Yeah, yell it out.
So what's change going to look like?
Oh,
You talk about wanting to have more representation.
Yeah.
And I love the mentorship program. I think that's phenomenal. But when you're mentoring somebody who's going through the biases and getting
Yeah.
knocked down, and eventually they say maybe this isn't worth it. Like,
Right.
what do you think the change is going to be? What is the catalyst going to be for kind of this flip?
well, I think it's obviously been happening in the past couple of years. Just, you know, the movements that have come along for women to speak their mind and say, I don't accept that. I only accept this. You know, I think that has to keep going. That can't lag. You know, sometimes movements get going, and then you know, they lose their fire behind them. But I think the most important part probably falls on us
Yeah.
to make sure that doesn't go away, so that when there are issues, we address them correctly, we handle them correctly, and we make sure that we train people in a way that they feel like they can stand up for themselves, so that when they get in our positions, we're just expanding in that way. So I think the change, as cheesy as it sounds, starts with us. I think it does. I don't know where else it would begin.
I'd add that it's a numbers game, and there's a whole lot more of us now,
Yeah.
and we won't take any shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Second that.
oh,
Yeah.
Really well.
okay.
You've been to culinary school, you haven't. What advice would you give to someone who is almost graduated and struggling with fighting against her chefs because she's older than everybody else and she struggles to have her own voice and not let people push her around? What would your advice be? That's a hard one.
Candace is.
I'll let you take this one.
Not to take it away,
You're
but
going to
she
give
might-
it to
she might
me?
be the good
Oh,
one.
thank you.
Yeah.
Listen in on here.
Yeah.
Following.
Well, you know, just kind of an offshoot of what I was already saying is that you have to know that that's where you not just want to be, but you need to be there, because it's too hard a job to just say, oh, well, yeah, this is fun. I like to cook.
Yeah.
You have to need to be there. You have to, when your shift ends and you go home and you're like, oh, God, I never want to look at another piece of fish in my whole life, that you wake up in the next morning and you're going, God, what am I going to cook today?
Yeah.
Right.
What am I going to do today? If you have that personality and if you have that burning desire to do it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you'll end up pushing past that anyway.
Yeah. It's only like a phase. It's like you're not going to be there forever.
No,
You
you
know?
won't be. You keep pushing, you keep getting your education, and you keep going, and you will eventually surpass that moment. There will be other
Absolutely.
moments that come, other challenges, bigger,
Absolutely.
harder, but this one will have given you something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for
And-
sure.
And
oh.
know your worth. You know what I mean? Know your worth and know that some people just are not for you.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
not everybody's for everyone. So
I think
Yeah.
your husband has the microphone.
Yeah. Here comes the boom.
hello.
Hello.
My question is for all of you, but my observation, just being the husband in this industry, I see a lot more than just the misogyny or being overlooked or even using your food and chefs claiming it. I also see a lot of the women in the industry running the kitchen as far as like managing the personalities. The men are clashing. They're like taking care of that. They're mediating. They're,
Oh,
really,
boy.
really keeping the kitchen together when it can fall apart.
Yeah.
And again, even in that, they get overlooked. So how do you balance all that? Like, some of you just want to be great cooks, be great managers, but you have to still, as you say, Candace, like deal with our shit, right? And
Yeah.
how do you still balance that? And sometimes I think, like for Faith, the best way to get out of that is start your own thing, but everybody can't start their own thing.
Right.
Like, so how do you, like, I didn't know what to tell her a lot of the times. She came home just upset, not because of what happened at work, but because people were fighting and she had to deal with that too. So what,
Oh.
what kind of advice would you give people still?
Well,
Besides drinking, what else do you do?
yeah.
Well, let me just jump in here
Yeah,
real quick.
yeah. No, go ahead.
Sadly, I have a background in psychology, and so
I knew
boundaries
just about this.
boundaries are super important. So that's what happens in toxic environments is the boundaries get blended, and people don't know where they start and the other person begins in terms of a work relationship or even in terms of a personality. So I think that if and it's a personality thing also but you have to either say, okay, this is who I am, and this is the work that I do, and here's how we're going to make all this happen. But it only happens if you have good boundaries of I'm not going to get involved in your drama
chaos
and your pain, and I respect it. I see it. I hear you,
Yeah.
but
Well, a lot of that is also I don't want to say it starts at the top, but there's a you bleed out into other people.
Yeah.
So how you handle your situations can affect them. If you handle a situation and I've been both of these people. I've been somebody where things are hitting the fan and I'm just like, what is going on? And I realize that's not going to work for me, nor is it going to work for the people that are working for me. The best way that I can handle things is to come at it with more of an understanding or more of a what's actually going on here, what's happening here. We having a bad day? Like what, the leadership roles, and that's how you actually put yourself in a leadership role. Just to be sure is when you're in those situations and things are going crazy and you're the calm, collected one, that's going to be recognized. Somebody's going to recognize that. And so that's how you're going to build your way up into the leadership role. And then you'll bleed that, that calmness and confidence out into your staff.
Absolutely.
All right, we do have
Good
time
answers.
for one
No, that was
more. If anyone else has a burning question that they'd like to ask.
Burning question.
Burning question.
Anybody? Nah, good.
No? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Round of applause again for our panelists. Woo!
You did awesome.
Absolutely. So we will be hanging out up here if you guys have those burning questions, but maybe need a little more private audience to ask them in. And thank
And then
you
I
guys
can give like
so
my
much.
real answers without the microphone,
Yeah.
like pull this off.
The real
just kidding.
answers.
Yeah.
But that is all for us. Thank you guys again, and enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the championship.
hanging out, guys.
Thank you. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.